Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day and another episode of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Elizabeth. It's good to be back. We had a little time off there for a week. I know you were traveling, doing some work, and so was I. So this is fun. So got to be back. Got some good stuff today.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we get into that, I always like to periodically kind of check in, get some recommendations from Kelly. So I know that you're always reading something, listening to something, consuming some sort of content to help you grow in your business, or not just in business, but really in life too, right? A lot of things that apply not only to business, but to, living your life in the fullest of ways. But right now, what are you reading, listening to? What kind of, what are you on right now?
Yeah, I'm going to go in a direction that you did not see coming. I guarantee it. But this is actually what I'm actually really diving into, which is fun. You may have heard of it before. I think a lot of people kind of have to an extent, but yet no one really acts on it. And that's first position lean or first lean position HELOCs.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a way that you can, if you're good at saving money, if you're good at managing your cash flow, et cetera, it's a way that you can literally take in some cases, take what would have been a 30-year amortization loan of your house and pay it off in 6 to 8 years.
Wow. Okay.
It's wild. And, but again, it's not the norm.
It's not like a motivational or,
no,
it doesn't sound like a light read by any means.
No, it's not. And you got to learn it and you got to get the right program. But banks don't really want you to know about this because it's not how they make more money. They make more money front end loading the interest on your mortgage, right? So anyways, we could go on a whole podcast of just this.
And we should.
It's really cool. We could definitely, but it's really cool. And I'm just geeking out on it right now because it's such a phenomenal idea. And I sit there and say, why didn't I start this early? I heard about this probably 15 years ago and just like, yeah, I don't know. And when you're given the gift of time, which, hopefully all of us still have plenty of that. But, if you're 25 compared to 40, there's 15 years there. You can't ignore that difference and that power that someone who's 25 or 27 or 32, whatever, has compared to someone who's in their 40s or 50s. So anyways, there's my tangent, but it's really cool.
Okay, great. Well, once you kind of sink your teeth more into that and learn all you can, we will be reporting back here on the podcast. Mark my words.
Love it.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, today we're not talking about that because, like I said, Kelly's really got to get in it, understand it, and we'll report back. But today we're talking about something that Kelly has been doing for a while, right? And we've talked about it quite a bit on this podcast in different forms, kind of different ways to approach it. But that is social media. We're never probably never going to stop talking about social media completely, right? It's I think we've all learned within the past couple of years, especially, that it's here to stay, and it is a real form of communicating with your audiences. It's not just, communicating with friends on Facebook. It's a real business powerhouse. And I think that we all realize that. But today we want to talk a little bit about how you can utilize it a little bit better, what that plan is to continue to create content, to continue to have things to use on social media, particularly about kind of doubling up on some of the stuff you're doing anyway, right? And having a plan surrounding that. So let's get into it, Kelly.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is a specific system that I think everyone should use. And this system, we call is no house left behind, right? No house left behind. Because, if you're in real estate, part of your job is you have to go show houses. That's part of your job. And you should hopefully want to be able to do that, enjoy doing that to an extent. But how many times that we're selling real estate do we have a client who does not actually end up buying the house you show them? A lot,
Probably
right?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, the average person is going to look at 10 plus houses most likely before they decide on one, and there's some people who look at over 100, which is very exhausting. But it's part of the deal. You also have people sometimes who make a quick decision in 2 or 3. So you get the good with the bad and long with the short. But regardless, if someone were to call you, this system's designed so that someone were to call you tomorrow and say, hey, I want to go see a property at this time. And you're like, okay, this is your 32nd home that you've seen. Is this going to be the one? I don't know, but that's my job. So I'm going to go out and drive 30 minutes over across town, whatever it may be, to show this house. This system allows you to have no house left behind, because you might go out there and show that house, they don't like it, then you're driving back, and then you're just back to square zero until, of course, another house comes on the market that you may find for them that fits their criteria. So in this process, you're able to at least make content that can be purposed and used and help you stay relevant in a very non-in-your-face way to all of your social media followers. And hopefully a lot of those people are your sphere of influence and your clients. So here is the 10 part system, okay? I'm gonna give it to you all at once, then we'll kind of break down each one really quick, because this podcast is, meat and potatoes, get after it and not spend all day on this podcast. But the first one's gonna be a Facebook word post. Now, you can take that and also put that on Instagram. We call it tide risers, where you ask a question to try to elicit a response, not just a statement or a post like a lot of people make, that someone might just say, oh, okay, that's a great pick or whatever. So you do a word post. Like, for example, if you're going to show a house, you might ask the question, hey, I'm going to X city today. Is there a specific type of city, there's a specific type of property that you would like me to tour and post about, or maybe a neighborhood you would like me to tour and post about? Something like that. And then hopefully people start commenting. Now, you're on your way to show that house regardless, but that comment that they make or somebody makes is your next tour. Now you know where somebody at least is interested in seeing, so then you can go there, film it for them, and then you tag them in it
while
when
you're
you
in the
do that.
area.
Yeah, absolutely. But for the purpose of starting this off, for that one client who just called you, said, I want to go look at this house tomorrow, you start the process. And step one is make that word post to try to rise the tide of who out there might be a little more closer than others when it comes to maybe buying or selling a house that you can help. Okay, that's number one. Number two is then make a Facebook or Instagram story, okay, post. So now you're on the way to the property and you are, in your car, you're by your car, whatever it may be, and you're sitting there and you're telling people, hey, going to tour this neighborhood in the city, feeling good, or my POV, point of view of, or whatever, right? And you make that, and it goes in the story. So now it's a little different spot than it would be, obviously, if you're going to post it or make it a reel. So now you have that going on. So now people notice that these two posts, as well as other ones you're going to see, like let's go number three. Number three, taking notes, is another Facebook, or not another, but a Facebook, IG, Instagram feed post. Okay, so this is not a reel. This is not a word post. This is a normal post with a picture of or maybe a quick video with you in it, of the neighborhood or the property type or the new home build community, right? You're there. Hello, how you doing? And you're going to say something in that post about that neighborhood, okay? You could even dangle the carrots about the property, right? So do you want to see inside? Do you want me to tour you around this neighborhood? Do you want to go tour? Do you want to see the model home? Look what they've done. Look at this pool in the backyard. Do you want to see it? Right? And all people say, yes, 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 whatever, right? So then you're not going to release that next post yet, because you want to see people comment. Then
you want the engagement. You want them to beg.
Engagement, yeah. And you could even use that next post of the tour of that property inside as a reel, okay? Or you can save it, put it in a link, like a Google Drive link, that's more private, and send it to them directly in messages, the DMs, so it feels more one-on-one, like there's exclusivity between you and them, and they now are more endeared to you to maybe have you help them when the time comes to buy a house, right? So it's all about that, not because you want to have a platform of one-to-many, but you also want to have times where you have one-to-one, so someone feels like a little more important than everyone else out there. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's number three. Then you go number two and number four, and then you also create a reel. Okay. So you did a word post, you did a regular post, which is number three, and number four is going to be a reel. So now you're going to do some short videos around the neighborhood or even the house you're touring, backyard, front yard, upstairs, downstairs, whatever it may be. And you're going to put those together, stitch them together, in the back end of Instagram. You can edit it really easily, or maybe the CapCut free version is easy. For those out there who don't know how to do it, you can do it. It's not hard. And then you put it together with some music, and you're now and some voiceover, or you and the property in some of those videos, and you stitch that together for a reel that's lasts, anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. And now you're getting the amenities of the neighborhood, the amenities of the house specifically. Does it have a pool in the backyard? Does it have a remodeled kitchen? Look at the architecture, whatever it may be, and you're making that cool to put out there, okay? And then the fifth thing you do is that if you are going to a community, like a property with a community in it, right? Like a big HOA. There's not all communities are like that, but a lot are. Or maybe or maybe a new home builder, right? This is the best one. This is the easiest one. You have the opportunity now to review them on Google. Give a
Okay.
5-star review, and when you make the review, you drop hints in the review that you are a local realtor and you've done business in that neighborhood, or specifically selling these builders homes before in the past. Your clients have had a good experience, if truthfully they have, and you couldn't recommend this community or this builder anymore. Now, if someone wants to buy a house at a builder, they probably heard about the builder because a lot of builders are publicly traded. They're big companies. So they go check it out. Is builder any good in the city? Let me check it out on Google. Boom, there you are with your 5-star review. And they say, they see in your review that you're a realtor. They click on your profile, which takes them to your Google business profile, which they can see that you're a good realtor, 5 stars, etc. And now they hopefully do what? Call you. And now you just created business by giving, which I love. And like I said, you guys know me, you follow me on this podcast. It took me many, many years to get to that point, that mindset. I'm a competitive guy. I like to win. And I thought for me to win, someone else had to lose, because that's kind of how it is in sports growing up.
Yeah.
And in real estate or in life, it doesn't have to be that way. It's weird how that works, but it does work.
All lift each other up. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's number 5. Number 6 is you're going to do, this is my favorite because I'm big on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Everything Phoenix by Kelly Cook. And I just love creating long form video content, probably because I love to just turn the camera on and just go, right? So if I'm talking too much on this podcast, this is why we limit it to like 10 to 20 minutes, because otherwise if it's an hour long, Elizabeth might fall asleep. Okay.
Yeah. And he could go. He could keep going. I promise you. He could make it an hour.
But the long form is great, right? Because you can just take your camera, your phone, iPhone, whatever. Ideally get a gimbal so it's not bouncing all over the place. You got the GoPro, which already has that built in with the stabilization, or you bring your fancy camera, your Canon, your Sony with your gimbal, whatever it may be, and you just walk through the house, the neighborhood, drive, whatever it may be. And then you put a long form video together, horizontal frame, for YouTube, which is awesome. If you get that going, people will follow you. It may not go as fast as you want, but over it's a long-term play, people will
Takes
follow
dedication.
you. Yeah, exactly. There's some people, guys, on YouTube that make their whole career off just doing long-form video walkthroughs of properties, and they're not even in the videos. They just film the house, then they might put some voiceover on the YouTube, make it a long-form video, and then boom, voila. Okay. And check out our YouTube channel. Let us know if you have any thoughts. I mean, if you guys have any comments that you could let me know how I can make it better. We don't know it all. I'd love to hear them. And if you need any help, I'd love to help you out with that too as well. Okay, number 6. You're going to make what we call a what do you call it? It's just a reel, but it's with no you're not in it, and it's with no voiceover. Okay.
Okay.
It's a silent reel, but it has a picture of something ideally nice, right? So it captures the attention of somebody, a nice kitchen, nice backyard, whatever that may be, right? And then you have a text. And the text ideally, it doesn't all come out at once. The first text comes on after the first second of the reel, and the next group of texting, if you have a group of texting, comes on after like 4 or 5 seconds. This reel is a short one, only lasts about 7 to 9 seconds at the most. And it's simply a reel of the text only with upbeat, trendy music playing, right? And hopefully the text has something.
And just like a still picture?
Still picture.
Of whatever? Okay.
Boom. That's it. That's it. And it's crazy how some of these, I think they call them simplegrams or something, right? Posts, but it's crazy how these posts that the picture, literally, I've seen so many posts that explode and go viral, if you will, or semi-viral, that the picture had nothing to even do with the text. But the music was trending. The text was a message that delivered to the audience, and the picture could have been of a dog walking down the street. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's wild. But if you can attach the picture to what you're talking about, probably a little better, assuming the picture is a good one and high quality, etc. So that's number 7. And then The other one I love doing too, which is really 7.2 or 7.5, but really we go 8, is another reel that is of just B-roll of the neighborhood, just B-roll of that one house, just B-roll of the new home community house, the model home, whatever it is that you're focusing on, because people love to see a nice house. So if you have a new home build community and it's a model home, stick with that. But bring
Mm-hmm.
your drone out if you have one. If you don't, you can get that boom with the camera way up here, way above you, and you can, like, it looks like you're kind of, then bring it down, up, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But move it around, do the
Get out your
ninja
inner
walk.
cinematographer. Yep.
Yes. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
do the ninja walk through with your gimbal through the different areas and figure out how to, edit it decently enough. And that's also a short one. It's just text, it's just music. And instead of having a still photo this time, you have that video we're talking about, but it's a very similar type of reel. Now, you're not releasing all these on the same day. I guess you could if you release a bunch of content on your channel, like 8 posts a day or something, which some people I know do. But if you're just a regular, like, hey, where I'm struggling to get one a day, which by the way, that's a lot to most people, then do that and stagger these out over the course of the week. If you do that for one showing for a client that maybe didn't like the house and they went home, you just have your content now for the whole week, right? It's awesome. It's awesome. Okay. And then my last two that I love, right? The last two that I love is email your database. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they reply for hand raisers, right, you email them. Now, when you say your database, we're not talking necessarily your whole database. If your property is in the town of Scottsdale, city of Scottsdale, then most databases have the ability to see where and who is searching in just Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm.
And if so, you have 100 people looking for properties in Scottsdale on search in your back end, then you just take those people. That's it. Because they're looking at Scottsdale. And you send them
Yep.
to Scottsdale new build or whatever it is, community that you're at. And then you say, hey, I was at this property in this neighborhood. It is gorgeous. I'm not sure if you're looking for something like this, but if you are, reply to this email and I'll
Let me
get
know.
you the link to the video.
Mm-hmm.
And then you send them a private link, like on a Google Drive,
Mm-hmm.
that's not access. It's not on Zillow. It's not on Redfin. It's not on Realtor.com, whatever. Now there's one-to-one. Beautiful thing, guys. And here's the thing. If you don't write this down, if you don't replay this podcast and listen to it again, if you don't pause it and take notes, you won't do it. I heard a system of, like, similar to this many years ago, and I was like, oh yeah, it's interesting. That's a good idea. But then you go out and show a house to your client Jim, and then you just forget about it. All you
Mm-hmm.
want to do is get home because you just want to whatever, right? Afterwards, and
Yep.
you're mad 'cause you didn't buy the house, So, but if you take this to heart, write it down, keep it in your notes section on your iPhone or your Evernote app or whatever it may be to remind you that when you're going to out this property, get a 2 for 1, or in this case, a 10 for 1, right? So to speak, with all
Mm-hmm.
these different things you're
Yeah.
going to do for
Just
one
turn it into a
house.
checklist. Just check it
Yes.
off as you do it every time.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, that's what someone on our team does. They have a checklist on the note section with, they put a green check bar emoji right
Mm-hmm.
next to it. They actually do it, but it's sitting there every time for a certain property or when they go show a property. So now, do they do it every single time? No, let's be honest. There's gonna be times where you're in a rush. You're going from this client showing houses, this client over here, this appointment. You won't have time. But this is not a lot of time. If you're already in the house, when they say, hey, we're not gonna buy it. It doesn't work for us. We're out of here. Cool. You go back in and do your thing. If it's just a house.
Yeah. Or
Now,
I guess too, if you can only get a couple of things done while you're there waiting for your client to come, like before they, ideally you're there before your buyer client,
yes,
right?
that's
So
huge. One-on-one, showing
so you've
property
got
one-on-one.
yeah, so you've got some time then beforehand to at least get a couple of things, right? Even if you can't make it through that full checklist, at least leave with something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the main thing is have a system, right? If you only have a 3-point checklist where you're just going to do one post when you're there, you're going to do maybe a story post for yourself, and then you do a reel, right? And that's all you do, but you do that.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm telling you, what's so great about this is you are letting every single person who might see your post know you're a realtor that is not just a realtor, you're a realtor that's actually working because you're out looking at houses. And you're doing it without saying, hey, I'm a realtor, can I help you out? It's
Right.
a beautiful thing. And then of course you sprinkle in your non-work stuff, your non-house stuff, like your family and what you're doing on the weekends, whatever, of course, as well. Your life. Be authentic. But this is a great system to use, and it's an easy way to get a whole week of content if you wanted.
Hmm. Especially because I know that that's something that a lot of people struggle with. I talk to agents all the time about, yeah, I want to do video. I don't know what to do, right? And you know, the company that I'm with, we kind of specialize in the question answer style of videos, which
Mhm.
is great. But there are so many other things that you're just doing in your day-to-day life, like showing houses, where you can grab content out of that. It's
Yeah.
just remembering to turn the camera on, right? And
Oh,
then
that's
do
the
it.
hardest
You can
thing.
always go later when you're home and all of that, then start putting stuff together, of course. But just get the camera out when you're out and about. Just get
Yeah.
it out.
It's so true. And for 19 years, honestly, I think after 19 years, for me, it's even harder than someone who may have been in the business 2 or 3 years. Because if you've been in business 2 or 3 years, all you know is that social media
Yeah.
is very, very important. You have to do it, turn the camera on, video marketing. Whereas, man,
It's hard to
15,
form new habits that
yeah,
late.
18 years ago,
Hmm.
what? I don't think when I first started real estate, they didn't even have cameras on phones, I don't think, right?
Probably not. Yeah.
In
Or they were
2005,
very,
maybe
very
they did. I don't know. I
grainy.
don't remember.
Very, very grainy, if so.
Yes. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
wasn't even like I had one of those flip cameras that had the USB thing plugged into it. You just
Yeah.
popped it open and you could plug it right into USB in your camera or your laptop, excuse me. And that was like the big thing. And that was like
Hmm.
2010 or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Insane.
crazy.
I got my first phone probably in like 2006, and yeah, I don't think I had a camera at all. It was just a little flip phone. I could just text. Before,
Yeah.
when I first got it, I couldn't even text because that costs extra money to text.
Yeah.
So yeah, times have
That's it.
changed, my friend. So get
Yep.
with the program, everybody. If you're new in the business, this is probably something that you're already, maybe if you aren't doing it to this level, it's something you're aware of, I think, for a lot of people who are newer coming into the business, right? And for a lot of you that have been like Kelly doing things a certain way for a very long time, it is hard to now incorporate um new processes, new steps in your routine, right? But it will be worth it. Your business will thank you, your social media accounts will thank you, and your clients will thank you too, because they're actually able to see a lot more of what you're doing, not only for other people, but for themselves too. Clients that you're
Mhm.
working with, if you're showing stuff you're doing behind the scenes, that helps increase their trust with you as well. So
Yeah.
all good things. It just takes a little bit of extra time. That's it.
That's
And
it.
not even much. So fantastic. So Kelly, real quick, um, can you run through just kind of those 10 steps in short words, kind of bullet points for us one more time, just so that if somebody listened to this whole thing and forgot to write anything down, you can kind of just write down a few of those steps.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one is a Facebook, an Instagram, or both, or one or the other, your choice. Word post, a Tiderizer post, ask a question. Okay. And it's about that neighborhood or a house or a new home construction community that you want to go see or you would like to know about. A Facebook, Instagram post where you are having for your story that you're on the way to that place. Okay. So you're on the way. And then the third one is a still picture post, okay, that you're
Mm-hmm.
teasing the house with a little bit, right? Teasing the consumer with that house, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
or that neighborhood.
Pretty picture,
Yep,
hopefully. Mm-hmm.
yep. Number four is a creative a short, right, of the neighborhood amenities, the house amenities, where you're doing a short form video that's about 30 to 60 seconds, right? Stitching a bunch of short form videos together, teasing about the neighborhood, okay,
Mm-hmm.
highlighting it. Number five is going to be a Google review of the business that you are at, if you're at a builder or potentially a
Like a
community a
community.
center,
Mm-hmm.
right? For a big neighborhood, right? They have they're not really a business, but they kind of are, right? You can review the neighborhood, so to speak. That might be on
Mm-hmm.
Google. It might be. Okay. If you can do that, do that. You're giving. The next one is going to be the sixth one is going to be the long form YouTube video. Seven is going to be a really short, simple gram where you have a still picture with just words and trending audio. Number eight is going to be a really short 8 to 10 second
Clip.
reel that is going to be a video that also has that ideally drone or some sort of high camera shot or that and a little bit of both going through the property. That is a trending audio and text as well only. And then the last two are going to be your email database that you went to this cool spot, whether it be neighborhood or a house, community. And would you like to know more about it or see the video I took of the property? And then to kind of dangle the carrot a little bit. And then the last one, number 10, is going to be texting any of those leads that do raise their hand saying, yeah, I'd like to know more about it. A private link that's not on your
for your
Instagram
video
page,
footage.
that's not on your YouTube page, right? On Google Drive or someplace like that, Dropbox, whatever, of that video you took.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys have any questions about this process or anything else that we talk about on this podcast, or you have something that you want us to talk about on the podcast, in one of our upcoming episodes, Kelly, where can they reach out to you?
Yeah. On Instagram, speaking of social media, at Kelly
Go
Cook
check
Homes.
out
Check
what
us out
Kelly's
there.
doing. He practices what he preaches, right, Kelly? I hope
Yes,
so.
we
So
do. We
go
totally
check it
do.
out and kind of get some real life examples of what that looks like on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I don't show houses as much, my after 19 years, but I still
Yeah.
show them every once in a while. But yeah, we're still posting on the daily almost, right?
Mhm.
Literally, and you can hold me accountable to it by looking at it. So Instagram or text me, call me 480-227-2028.
Fantastic. Well, we hope that you all on your next showing get your camera out, and we will be back next week with another topic. Stay tuned for kind of what Kelly talked about in the beginning with the HELOCs, because we'll do an episode on that pretty shortly as well. So until then, you guys all have a great time. Bye, Kelly.
See you, Elizabeth.